All right, welcome. Wyatt Knox up here at the Team O'Neill Rally School. What we're going to look at today is just take a few minutes and figure out the perfect formula for finding fun and affordable cars. How much fun can you have, your best bang for the buck with different cars around the world. What we've done is we've adapted some of the teachings of the world famous love guru Dana McClendon. We'll add a link to his video at the bottom. So we're not trying to at all copy him, but really what we found is it's super applicable to what we're doing and what you guys are probably doing out there. So what we've got here is basically a super simple formula that's been developed over many, many years of research. On one axis, we're going to have how much fun a car is, and on the other axis, we're going to have how much money you're going to spend on a car, how maintenance heavy this car is going to be, how much trouble it's going to give you in the long run, and that sort of thing. So the really simple thing here to keep in mind is you've got your affordable fun line, right? And you're always trying to stay, reasonably around that. This fun scale is going to go from 0 to 10 because you can have no fun at all in a car, or you could have a super amount of great times. Our dollars and maintenance scale over here is going to start at 4 and go to 10 because every car requires some maintenance. Unfortunately, that's just a fact of life you're going to deal with. You're going to have to do brake pads and put gas in it and everything else. So there are no cars that are before a 4 on the dollar scale, and that's just what you're dealing with. Anything really below a 5 on the fun scale, this is going to be our no-go zone. Right? We just don't want cars. We're never going to be in cars. You have no interest in cars that are below a 5. That's going to be your no-go. You're not going to buy these cars. You're going to try not to drive these cars. If you do have to drive them, leave them on the side of the road, get out. You'd rather walk kind of deal. And that's just the way it's going to be. What we're really looking for here is something that's more fun and affordable. So really what we've got, maybe as you get towards a 7 or an 8 on the fun scale, but you're below the affordable fun line here, that's going to be kind of your fun zone. These are cars that you're going to play with. You might own some. You'd certainly love to borrow your friends' cars and everything else that are in this zone right here. These are great cars. And there's a lot of cars that are going to fall into this zone where that's really where you're going to try to play. You're not going to want to live in this zone because they're not the most fun cars you've ever driven, but really those are great cars and they're fun to have, and certainly you're not going to cry too much if you crash one, and anything else like that. Anything that's up to an 8 or beyond in the fun zone, but once you start getting up into the high dollar stuff, that's where you really start to get, have to be careful up here. This is the danger zone. And this is where a lot of fun stuff lives, but it's a lot of really expensive stuff. This is where all your exotics are. This is where your race cars are. These are cars that may be great entertainment, but just prohibitively expensive for the normal person to own. And even if you were wealthy, you're going to see the amount of fun that you have versus the amount of dollars that you spend. You can probably do a lot better. So that's kind of the basic thing. We've got it filled out a little bit here. You don't want these cars. You really don't want those cars. These ones are pretty good. There's a few more areas to fill out here. And really, if you ever find anything that's over an 8 in the fun zone and below this affordable fun line, that car is going to be a keeper. So, if you've got something that's, maybe it's between a 6 and above maybe on the affordable scale, but it's above an 8 on the fun scale, these are cars that you might want to keep around. These are cars that you're going to be driving around whenever you want. They're going to be great entertainment. They're not prohibitively expensive to build. There's, these are M3s and stuff like that, or if you're a hot rod guy or whatever kind of vehicles you might be into, I'm sure you can see vehicles that might fit into this realm. These are cars you're definitely going to be looking to purchase. You're going to be driving for a long time. You're going to do the maintenance on them and keep them around and everything else. Those are going to be great cars. If you ever find something that's maybe below a 6 or 7 on the dollar scale and above an 8 on the fun scale, that's really the cars that we're all looking for. So these cars, I'm going to call them life cars. These are cars that you're going to keep around forever. You're going to buy it, you're going to fall in love with the thing, you're going to do maintenance on it when it needs it, and you're going to be ripping around and having a great time. The best times of your life you're going to have in a car for the lowest amount of money. Those are the cars that you're going to become the most attached to. Whether it's, we see cars in this, this is where you find your people that love Miatas and people that love STIs and people that love Evos and some of those cars that aren't crazy expensive to maintain, but they're a super hoot to drive around, and you can get around in them pretty good. That's really where you want to be. So that's something to keep track of. One thing to keep in mind is your car, you might have a good idea of where it might lay on this chart right now. All cars can basically move from their location where you think they are now to some completely other location at any point. So be aware, if you're here in the fun zone for long enough and the car has proven itself that it's not high maintenance and you haven't spent money on it, well, that car might be moving from there to there and potentially closer to there. You might have a car that you think you're going to have forever and you're driving daily. Well, it starts to get high mileage and it starts to need more work and it starts to have all these troubles and it leaves you stranded on the side of the road. All of a sudden you can find yourself in the danger zone. And so what you're looking for is over time, you're looking for tracking over time, and as the great Dana once said, a cluster of data points is going to give you the best reference on where you really are on this scale. If you ever find something, that's above an 8 on the fun scale and below a 5 on the dollar scale, you're probably driving a rental car. Because they're some of the most fun and certainly the most affordable vehicles on the planet. You take the insurance policy out, you go have a blast. So really, rental cars are kind of the pinnacle of automotive endeavors, as you might know them, driving around, having a good time. Rental cars, cars that aren't yours, come here to the rally school, drive our cars. Stuff like that is going to be down in this area where really it's the least cost over time, the most fun you're going to have. We have a couple of instructors here, we showed them this scale and they came back and they're like, hey, I had a super great time. And it was probably like a 9 or a 10 almost on a fun scale, but it was like down around a 2 or the 3 on a dollar scale. You're probably driving a motorcycle. It's not a car at all. So anything down here, be careful. It's not a car at all, it's a motorcycle, and motorcycles can kill you. So that's kind of the affordable fun car matrix, and hopefully you enjoyed it. Have a good time out there and be safe.